1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, shout out to Trevor Wesley for that beautiful remix and redo of that song. It's not just a remix, it's a total rendition of the Hake Report. Appreciate that. So, guys, this is Thursday, October 27th. It's not the 27th. The 27th is going to be Sunday, when there is no, it's the 24th. The 27th is going to be a Sunday, and there's no church on that Sunday. With no church with Jesse Lee Peterson that Sunday, because he's going to be at Politicon in Nashville. But I will have the Hake Report that Sunday. So you can tune in 9 a.m. Pacific time, and maybe I'll schedule like a 2008 Sunday service to premiere at that time so that you guys can enjoy it and we can enjoy it and be in the chat and have fun on YouTube. Bond or Building the Man YouTube channel. It's a really good channel. So, Jib Jab calls it the Dub Report because it goes. Anyways, let me just tell you guys quickly, and then I will get to calls. I want to get right into this. There is an operation going on, and Bubs Love alerted me to this operation, and I somewhat endorsed some of these items that he alerted me to, and it's called Operation Save James Younger. Courtesy of Bubs Love, thank you. One of my interns, guys. Very talented guy. So, I will go through these. I'm showing them on the screen currently. But I got this because I reported on it earlier this week or last about Drudge reports Texas jury rules against a dad, meaning a father, trying to stop his 7-year-old son's gender transition. Fake gender transition. This is why you don't listen to experts, right? New York Post reports Texas, blah, blah, blah. I just read that headline. So, but look at the kid. Beautiful little kid, baby boy. Well, 7-year-old boy. And the father. And he's divorced. He's a divorced father. The mom, real word is mother, according to New York Post. Pediatrician Ann Gergulas. Ann Gergulas. I don't have a photograph of her, but she's a so-called pediatrician, which is a children's doctor, and she's calling her son transgender. Contends that James, this boy's name is James, not to be confused with me, likes wearing dresses and prefers to be identified as Luna, according to the Texan. That's her claim, right? Gorgulas, Gorgulas has secured a letter of recommendation for James to, quote, receive a full psychological assessment of gender dysphoria, meaning thinks he's transgender, and potentially take hormone blockers, the Washington Examiner reported. Hormone blockers for a 7-year-old, that's pure evil. It's a move that Younger, the father, strongly opposes. James Younger is the boy, and I forget what the father's name is. I'm blanking on it. Let me know what his name is, guys. So here's another quote from a stupid expert, but that's the father and the son. There is still some fluidity in his thinking, said Dr. Benjamin Albritton, according to the Washington Examiner. Neither child, because they have 2 children, right? A son and somebody else, another little child. Neither child appears to be depressed, anxious, or aggressive. James maybe used the word Luna, gave no indications of other significant psychological difficulties other than being, want to be transgender, according to the mother. So, let me just show you on the screen once more this operation that's going on. And like I said, I think I endorse some of these. One of them is call the governor of Texas. gov.texas.gov/contact. Easy web address to remember, gov.texas.gov/contact. It's probably worth a little call. What'd you think about this, Governor? Get him on the record and be like, hey, this is evil. Maybe file complaints about the judge. scjc.texas.gov. scjc.texas.gov is where you can file complaints about the judge. But it was a jury, an entire jury voted against this man. I don't know if it was, all one. What is it called? Unanimous? I don't know if it was a unanimous jury decision, but a jury decided against this man, against the child, to be honest. Send letters to all her neighbors with her photo and a description of what she's doing. But don't, that's one where I say don't harass, don't be mad, be dispassionate. You'll notice that people who are dispassionate are more convincing because they're not lying. But see, some people pretend to be dispassionate. A lot of reporters pretend to be, but they're not. They're liars. They are emotionally invested. That's what I call intellectualism. When you're intellectual, you're actually emotional, but you're hiding your emotions behind your so-called intellect. And it's not intelligent to do that. It is deceitful. You're self-deceived and you're deceiving others. Call all the churches in Coppell, Texas, Coppell. Coppell is the town, I guess, in Texas, and pledge to support them if they have plans to protest. If they support the mother, take down the names and info, let the people of the people that you speak with, because churches have no business supporting this. Churches should oppose it and speak out against it. Call news organizations, get them to cover the issue. So that's what the operation is going on. And Bubs Love came across this. And he cut out there are some nasty ideas. Don't be a nasty person. Don't fight evil with evil. Fight it with good. Overcome it with good. That's why I say be sober, dispassionate. I was telling you about this this guy who works at a think tank yesterday at the Hudson Institute. His name is full name is Michael Doran. And he was the sane voice about this whole Turkey-Syria thing, right? All these emotional reporters and BBC and all those people, media, so-called journalists, getting all emotional. Oh, this is genocide, and about the Turks who are taking over the land and securing the area for their, like a safe zone. They want to establish a safe zone in northern Syria. Oh, so that those terrorists known as the PKK can't come in and try to mess up their country. So that's what he's being dispassionate, and that's what you should be too when you're dealing with this issue. It is evil. You can say the nastiest words. Should I smile? I'm laughing because I'll tell you later. It's an inside joke. So anyways, don't harass, be sober-minded, be dispassionate. And Jesse has talked to people. It's not lost. All is not lost just because of this thing happening. Because Jesse Lee Peterson has counseled people for decades. And among those people that whom he's counseled, it's not that, they're whom he's counseled, include people that have been raised by lesbians and all those people that have been raised in this nonsense stuff. He's talked with transgenders who start to agree with him and come out of that mess. So all is not lost. This kid's soul, even though it's being sacrificed by the mother, as long as he's living, maybe he can wake up and snap out of it. If somebody is telling the truth in love, rather than getting mad and being nasty and evil towards these people just because they're evil, doesn't give you an excuse to be evil. A lot of them are waking up and telling the truth about their parents or their so-called parents, right? Because there's a lot of times, in the case of lesbians, for example, one of those so-called mothers is not a blood mother for sure. Because two mothers can't make a child. So I call them so-called parents, step-parents or whatever. So all is not lost, but do fight on his behalf if you can. Any of those items that seem reasonable and doable for you, go ahead and do it. Governor of Texas, complaints about the judge, most of these judges are liberal and corrupt, and the whole medical field, the medical industry, is very corrupt and politically correct and politically it's compromised. They're not for what's right or for the truth. I'm going to get to some of your calls, but first I want to mention this briefly. Judge Judy endorsed Bloomberg for president, and the things that she says are so ridiculous and stupid. She's written an opinion piece, and I kind of respect her, right? People respect her. Sort of, I guess, if you can respect a woman. She wrote an opinion piece in USA Today saying, America is fractured, but Michael Bloomberg's no-nonsense approach can help us heal. And I say, what she's looking for is Trump. Trump's no-nonsense, no BS, no bogus speech. BS stands for bogus speech. No bogus speech approach is already helping us heal. He's the one who's bringing the country back together, at least the decent ones. And even some decent people who were stuck in the Democrat mindset are coming out of that, waking up. And it's so nice. And some of the rhino Republicans are waking up too. In 2020, voters need to pick the best possible candidate, she writes, not one offering pie in the sky proposals. And she calls Michael Bloomberg the realist we need. Makes me want to throw up, calling Michael Bloomberg a realist. He's a Democrat. He's not a realist. If he's opposed to Trump, he's not a realist. In her op-ed, she calls Michael Bloomberg a man of the center. See if you can Google up an image of Michael Bloomberg just so I can show you guys what this guy is. He's not a man of the center. If he's a Democrat, he's far left. Anybody who's Democrat today is far left, not center. Unless you're like a black who doesn't know better, right? Because there's a lot of blacks who don't agree with the homosexuality, for example. You heard about them in South Carolina. They're not that far left. They're just kind of brainwashed into socialism and hating whites. That's why they're Democrats. So, an independent, tough-minded businessman, she says. He represents our best chance to bring America together again and begin the long national process of healing. That's Trump, not Bloomberg, dummy. And I'm calling this woman a dummy. Unlike those on the far right or the far left, there's no such thing as far right, who use their bully pulpit to divide. Look at him. That's Michael Bloomberg. He's a pragmatist. That's Trump is a pragmatist. He's practical. A man who has shown time and again that he knows how to get things done and cares more about results than ideology. Everything that she said is about Trump. It's not about Bloomberg. So, she's Jewish. She's Judge Judy. She should stick with the showbiz judging and stop with this. But she thinks that she's doing the right thing because she's so blind that she doesn't see how good of a guy that Trump is. What a dummy. Unless she's being dishonest, which wouldn't be surprising, to be honest. So let me get you some calls. Kyle out of California. First time caller. Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, how can I help you?
I had a couple questions for you.
Go for it.
First one is, what is your explanation of what hell is like to live in?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I heard a good explanation from Jesse that sounds really right. I can't recall it exactly right now, but it's basically the hell that you go through in your personal life now. It's like that, but there's never any respite or respite. There's never any comfort.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I agree, actually. And my follow-up was, is Trump being honest when he says he went through hell to get bills signed, to get anything done, really? He says he goes through hell. I've heard him say it many times.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's an honest statement. Because Jesse Lee Peterson says that he's gone through more hell in the last 30 years since waking up than he did in the whole 38 years prior, or whatever it was. And so yeah, it's an honest statement. Are you gonna nitpick the word hell, the use of the word hell?
I think that's kind of where we're at, is just one's interpretation of that definition. But
yeah, man, there's more than one definition of hell, man, because it's a figure of speech to go through hell to get stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
it's not a big deal. Yeah, don't
Okay.
nitpick the president on that one.
Okay.
You support Trump?
Yes, sir.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you disagree with me on anything?
No, I think it's a little bit of a catch-22 to say that you're living every day in your sin, that's hell, and then to say it's hell to get a bill passed. So,
Oh, yeah.
saying he lives every day in his sins just to get his bill
No,
passed.
man. Yeah, it's just a figure of speech. So, when I say that Trump tells the truth and never lies, like, of course, everybody does little lies or whatever, but those are like unimportant lies or exaggerations.
Yeah.
Most of the times when those people are accusing Trump of lying, they're the ones lying.
Petty.
Yeah, they're petty things, they're exaggerations. But there's times where he's accused of lying when he's actually told the truth. Like, for example, when he said they're rapists, I think that might have been considered a lie by some. I think Hillary Clinton called it a racist lie, referring to the people coming from Mexico, being sent by Mexico. They're the ones lying about that because it's been documented numerous times in local news, and Breitbart has cited local news reports of rapists rapes taking place here in our country, and not to mention the ones that Fusion and I think Huffington Post might have even reported about supposedly 80% of the women who come up here illegally get raped along the way or sexually assaulted. They have very low bar for sexual assault, but Trump is like, somebody's doing the raping. So anyways, like you know that their accusations of lies are dishonest.
There's a big spectrum, and the one about hell is on the very bottom.
Yeah.
Compared to the stuff they say lies about. Definitely. All right. Well, I appreciate the call.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it. Call again. Take care, man.
All right. Bye.
All right. Let me get to Joe out of Phoenix, Arizona. Joe, how are you doing?
Doing well, James. How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you.
Yeah, yesterday you mentioned that black people are not hated by people because of their skin color, it's because of their culture, right?
Right. They are, that people aren't hated based on skin color. I made a definitive statement by that. Nobody hates anybody based on skin color. Because when I ask anybody, they're like, well, I don't, but I know others who have hated me because of my skin color. And that's not true. They're pretending to be mind readers or heart readers. And no man knows another man's heart. If you know yourself that you're not tempted to hate somebody just because of their skin color, then you know that most likely nobody else does either. But these people think that they're superior to the so-called racist. It's accusing somebody of something that you can't be guilty of yourself. It's a very self-righteous position to take, and self-deluded.
I think people confuse black culture with ghetto culture way too much.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of blacks who are not related to the ghetto at all, and yet they still have this belief in racism stuff going on. And so that is another aspect of the black culture that is real evil. Well, I mean, I'll call it black culture, right, for short, right? But I'm talking about the fallen state type of black culture. Look at all these
CEOs of Fortune 500 companies that are black, doctors, lawyers.
I know, and some of them, that's what I'm talking about them too. Like a lot of them, they come out and support the worst things.
I just think people, look at the small percentage of black people that do terrible things, like the high crime and all that, and they say, oh, well, that's black culture. But no, I mean,
right.
Black people are the second highest percentage in our military, so they're protecting our freedoms and our liberties worldwide. We have.
Yeah, many of those things are nice things and good, and a lot of those guys are solid guys. But I'm just telling you,
I just wish that people would see black culture as the positive things instead of all the negatives, because there's far more positives than negatives.
Man, I wouldn't go that far. I couldn't say more positive things about any culture. I couldn't even say more positive things about white culture than negative things about white culture. Because otherwise, think about it. Or even if it is a greater or less, think about the direction the country has gone. The direction of the country, the culture of the country, you know this, the acceptance of the homosexuality and transgender stuff, and that's just one symptom. You've seen like the out of wedlock birth rates across
in Texas is just outraging. It's evil. It's pure evil. I hope that father kidnaps his son and goes to a non-extradition country. I really do.
Maybe, yeah, man. I don't. You might be right. I don't know, but it is pure evil, and the direction of the country. That's just one symptom of it. The sex out of wedlock stuff, this acceptance of pot and alcohol and pornography and all that stuff. It's so bad that you have Congress, so-called women, who are getting into these horrible relationships, and they are putting themselves in ethics violations, potential ethics violations, because they think that they're living free, because their low moral bar is this word called consent. As long as I have consent, I can have all the dirty sex with all the different people I want. And so they have the...
It's amazing how powerful leading by example can be, though. Like you know that I coach basketball kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, I tell them, listen, I've never had pot. I've never had a drop of alcohol in my life. And they're amazed.
Nice. That's cool, man. Yeah, that's true. It makes them realize that it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible, and they respect me for it, even if they don't say it, you know?
That's why I think that Jesse is so awakening to people, and Trump is too, because look at Jesse's example with dealing with people. He deals with people in... the things he says to people is sometimes pretty remarkable, and the conversations, and he's really aiming to help when he's talking to people like that Dr. Townsend. He's trying to wake Dr. Townsend up about this false Christianity that so many nice conservative Christians have accepted, that is a false Christianity.
Well, you know that I've said many times about Jesse that his message is great, and I agree with 99.999% of it. It's just I wish he would knock off the insult and denigration and stereotypes while he's trying to make his point, because how you say something is important as what you're saying, you know?
Yeah, it's just that he's unemotional, so he wants to just tell the plain, harsh truth the best that he knows how, and I think that it works for a lot of these guys. It's like a no BS, bogus speech approach to telling the truth. And it's what Trump has done too, and it's been so encouraging to people. They're like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that I could be without anger," and stuff like that.
But then Trump turns around and complains that the Dems won't work with them. Well, of course they're going to work with you, Trump. You insult them and you name call them, and you know.
But that means they're petty because they can't.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But that's just
Anyways,
human nature, though.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Joe. But you'll notice that. If you read what people say or hear what people say, like Ben Carson, I think that you kind of generally believe that he tries to tell the truth. He said that Trump really listens when he's one-on-one with people. And so he may insult the people that he's attacking when he's in a fight with them, but once they're in a need to make a deal, he does listen. And that's why he's partly of the reason why he's been able to make good deals throughout his life, because he does listen to people. He's actually more humble than people realize. But anyways, man.
No, it certainly seems like Congress is dead against him, or at least the Dems are.
Yeah.
And that's normal for any president, right? I mean, the opposition party is always going to be against the president. But
and the media is part of the opposition party now, like never before. But, man, I got to go, Joe. Appreciate your call.
Just last thing, ghetto culture is not black culture, period.
All right. Appreciate the distinction. Take care, Joe.
Take care, brother.
All right. Let me quickly get to... Oh, nice. Is it going? Yeah. Hey, guys, look at this. I am on... Look at my toy cell phone. I got it in a Hot Wheels box. I am on, if you zoom in on this, I am on TalkStream Live now. TalkStreamLive.com. It is an excellent little outlet. Not a little outlet. It has some of the best people, including Jesse Lee Peterson and many other excellent hosts. Some of big names that you've heard of, conservative and some liberals, Christians and non-Christians. Michael Savage, Rush Limbaugh, and of course the best, Jesse Lee Peterson, and me, the Hake Report. So the Hake Report is now on TalkStream Live. You can download the app TalkStream, formerly known as TSL, and that is that listen line that that some of you guys call in on. There's this thing you can hit that will call a number. Say you don't have good internet service on your cell phone, you're driving. You can dial that number and it'll stream my show live and you can check it out. I use that when I'm out on the road, I'm listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and say I'm not using YouTube or the audio feed. You can dial that TSL listen line. It's called TalkStream Live Listen Line. And it will stream the show on this phone as long as you have, say, unlimited minutes. If you have limited minutes, then you may be paying some long-distance charges. So use at your own discretion. Don't come crying to me if you get a big bill. But if you have unlimited minutes, a lot of people do nowadays, dial that number and you can catch my show even without an internet connection, because oftentimes the cell phone signal is stronger. Cool, huh? A lot of truckers.
That's amazing.
Nice. It is amazing. Thank you, Jesse. A lot of truckers use that, I would imagine. We have a lot of truckers listening to the Jesse Lee Peterson show and the Hake Report. Shout out, guys. Thank you. And I didn't know there were so many black truckers. I've met more black truckers by phone and in person from who are listeners to the Jesse Lee Peterson show. That's cool. And so to that incel guy, get in while the industry is surviving. Don't be assuming that it's going to close down in 10 or 20 years. I got to interview that incel guy sometime soon. And speaking of that, some of you guys have given me tips on these interviews, on interview tips. I'm going to follow up with you. You may have to remind me. All right, let me quickly get to Mike out of San Antonio, Texas. Mike, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, James?
Doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
Okay, before I get to my point, just let me disagree with that last caller. Black ghetto culture, black middle-class culture, black high society culture is all the same. In fact, the high society is worse than the ghetto because it enables the ghetto.
Yeah.
They vote for the same people. They all victims, and they present themselves as victims so that the ghetto culture can say, well, if they're a victim and got money, then I'm a victim too, just like LeBron James did.
Yeah.
So it's worse. I've been in all three. It's worse.
Wow, man, that is such a good point. I was probably being too nice and beta to Joe. But Joe, I don't think that you can really disagree with that. Oprah Winfrey and, yeah, like what you said, LeBron James. These people are supporting evil.
Of course.
But he was kind of an Obama fan, so he may not, I mean, he likes Obama on certain things, so he may not clearly see that. He's kind of an intellectual.
Well, if you didn't see it, then you don't want to see it. I mean, like I said, I've touched base with all three, and the worst is the higher they go, the worse they get because they have money to support their evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, look at Jay-Z. Isn't he a billionaire now? Good for him, but he's smart businessman, very talented and all that stuff. He married Beyonce. And then but those two are supporting some of the nastiest things, and I know that Joe doesn't support Black Lives Matter. At least he doesn't support the way they go about things, accusing people with no evidence and stuff.
They enable this.
Homosexuals.
They enable it.
They totally do. That is so true. And you don't hear them calling out the ghetto culture. The only ones that do get taken down. I mean, look at Bill Cosby. People accuse Bill Cosby of doing horrible things or something. Who knows what's true and what's not? He got convicted from an accusation by a lesbian from a decade or more ago.
His problem was he actually addressed it like he said. He said, you got these mothers who can't read and won't teach their kids how to read.
Yeah.
Him doing that, although he gave all that money, got him disqualified from the so-called black culture. It's a culture of victimhood.
My conspiracy theory about these black about these black people that are, you know, at the top of their game, if you want to call it that. They're physically successful. Look at that guy who played Ben Carson, Cuba Gooding Jr. I haven't known him to be very outspoken and nasty or liberal, right? Maybe he is liberal, I don't know. Maybe he said something in the past, but he's not one of those Samuel L. Jackson nasty, outspoken liberal types or a nasty Oprah type. And so the protection is removed because they don't mind him going down because he's not in the spotlight for the liberals.
No, he's not being a victim.
Yeah.
He's not saying black culture.
And so they're hashtag me tooing a semi-decent black guy like that. And he has like, he's a little bit older, not that old, but he's a little bit older, has some dignity about him. And they're taking down all of the dignified men who protected their image and projected an image of decency and not liberalism. And it's a shame.
Okay, I didn't mean to ramble, but can I get to my point?
Yeah, go for it.
There's witches that's praying against President Trump.
Yeah.
I think it's tomorrow. We need to get on the prayer line. And can I tell a quick story?
All right.
I knew these two girls in Kenya. Both of them had fathers who were witch doctors. I worked with her. She actually was from England. Her mother came to England because her father was trying to kill her, actually, and tried to sell her first for 20 cows, she told me. I laughed and said, you was worth at least 25. But anyway, one of them sent a spirit to one of their houses, and this was a Christian girl. You got to be a Christian if you're in Africa. It's a real deal. She said, spirit came in the door, you could tell. She said, I said, send it back to wherever it came from with the same spirit it sent to me. It went back to the witch doctor and killed his son.
Wow.
The reason I'm saying is just like Jesse was saying, the piece was saying, the hate you sent out, you can get it back and it'll kill you. And that's why all these people are dying, or the NFL was dying when they sent in this hate to Trump.
Yep.
And I'm more than the witches. I'm praying that same prayer. You send out that hate from your father, the devil.
Yep.
If that hate don't get to us and the great President Trump. He's a terrible taskmaster. If he can't get that hate for you to hate, he's going to take it out on the people that didn't get it to work. It's crap. So I'm just kind of warning them.
Yeah.
And I'm telling the Christians to pray this prayer. I think it's legitimate, like that girl did. What you send it out, we're going to send it back to you. Like I said, your father, the devil. I had an aunt used to say, sometimes it's time to send the sinner.
Yeah.
And that might be what happened.
You make a really good point, man.
I'm just saying.
I mean, look at John McCain. Look at Cummings, Elijah Cummings. Look at even Charles Krauthammer. Those guys hated Trump. They hated him.
Watch out for Mitt Romney next.
That's an interesting point. I mean, I don't think Mitt Romney's old enough and decrepit enough, but I have noticed, look at Don Lemon. He is homosexual, but he used to look like younger and fresher faced. Now he looks old and dead-eyed, no humor, no life in him. And now because he hates Trump, and he was just smearing the guy as so-called racist, like it means anything.
And if this man is of God, and I think he is, and God sent him for a purpose to show us everything. He showed us the corruption of the Republicans.
Yep.
He showed us the corruption of everything.
Yeah.
And you sending out this hate towards a man that he's set up to show us at the final time of this disposition what we really are in for. You better watch what you say, because the NFL was going broke. There's more concussions than ever.
Wow.
I'm watching the NBA. They're going to probably be next. This ain't nothing, do what they want to do. But I'm just asking the prayer warriors to maybe say whatever prayer they want to say. I know what I'm going to say. I'm telling them to send that hate. They send it towards the president right back to you.
Right.
Let your taskmaster deal with you how he decides to deal with you.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate that. Very good tip.
All right. Take care.
You too, Mike. Good to hear from you.
All right.
Let me quickly get to D out of Arizona. I told him to call back, and he said that he would. And D, I spoke with him yesterday, and he was pretty agitated about me saying that no one hates anybody else because of skin color. But I think that he said that he doesn't, but that other people have hated him because of skin color, supposedly. D, good to hear from you again. Thanks for calling back.
Yeah, no problem. Great to hear from you. I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah. Are you black or are you white or what are you?
Hey, why is it? It's not even really relevant.
It's just interesting to know.
It's not really relevant.
You don't want to
The
say?
point that we're talking about. Well, because the point we're talking about is that people don't discriminate based on skin color.
Yeah.
But you want me to identify what I am, so then you can already prejudge on what I'm saying and why I'm saying it.
All right.
Isn't that interesting?
That's your mind went through all that. That's fine.
Well, I'm just saying.
It would explain a lot.
Because you cannot see.
Yeah.
What I am, and you cannot detect it from my voice. You want clarification,
right?
Because you want to then prejudge or predetermine what I'm about to say and what my motivation is.
All right, well, go ahead. It'll explain a lot regardless.
No, you're already explaining.
How old are you? Because that'll help me too.
How will that help you? How come you can't listen to a conversation?
Go for it.
One of the things you always say is that somebody's blind.
Yeah.
And it seems like that would be your worst weakness, that if you lost one of your five senses where you couldn't see,
that would be horrible. Yep.
Then it would be horrible for you, but it's a reality for some people, but you can deal with it because all you're about.
You don't know that. But now you're
peripheral cues.
But now you're just making up something just to be nasty.
No,
make your point. Make your point.
To be nasty.
Yeah, because you don't know how I don't even know how I would react if I lost my sight or something. And now you're assuming that how you know I would react. That's ridiculous.
You're making my point for me. Actually, I'm not. I haven't said anything. You're making a point by actually showing your ignorance.
But what ignorance have I shown?
So my point was yesterday and today is that you said absolutes.
Yes.
You said absolutes, that nobody judges anybody on skin color.
Right.
How do you make absolutes?
How do I make absolutes?
Jesse says nobody, not all but most, but you are making absolutes that nobody judges anybody on skin color.
Correct.
That is amazing that you can make absolute statements like that.
Because think about it. When you're mad at,
you said nobody.
Do you hate anybody?
No, I don't think I hate anybody, no.
Have you ever hated anybody?
I can't say it raised to the level of hate.
Have you ever been...
Have I had animosity towards people?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So if you've had animosity towards people, and what was it prompted by?
It was by that individual's behavior.
Yeah.
Not by a group's behavior. So I wouldn't judge somebody by their eye color, their hair color,
so in that case,
the roundness or the slantness of their eyes, nor their skin color. So
in that case, why do you assume that other people do it? You only know your own self.
I've been told that clearly. I've been told that if the only thing a black person can do, I've heard it. That if the only thing a black person can do for me is shine my shoes or play football.
And what's wrong with that? You didn't say anything.
It said the only thing. The only thing a black person can do is shine my shoes or play football.
So what?
You don't think there's anything wrong with that?
So what?
Hank, are you saying there's nothing wrong with that statement?
I don't know what's wrong or right with it. You're not giving me any context.
Then you're ignorant about it. Then you're
yes, I'm ignorant about the situation because you won't enlighten me.
I just enlightened you about it.
You didn't enlighten anything. You just told me you just made a statement that some people would deem offensive because they're hateful people, and then you didn't give me any context. So there was there's no light.
Let me help you out because I feel like you're.
So hold on. Answer this question for me. If you never have animosity based on those shallow things, why do you assume other people are more shallow than you?
I haven't assumed anything.
Yeah, you do.
What has been,
yeah, you do.
What has been confronted to me
because you assume.
I just gave you a personal example.
Yeah, that's not a good example, though. That's not a good example.
It's not a good example.
Let me tell you why it's not a good example. You want me to explain? You want me to explain why it's not a good example?
I want you to, try to explain it to your listeners.
Because you didn't explain why that person said that. They didn't say because he's black.
Well, let me explain it to you why they said it.
You didn't say because his skin is black.
because that is their belief.
Yeah, exactly. That's a circular argument. You didn't say because its skin is black, and they didn't say that. So you're assuming that.
Yeah,
you don't know what you're talking about.
The only thing a black person can do for me is shine my shoes or play football.
Yeah, you're repeating it. That's what somebody said.
It because you're not taking it in. I can't help it if you're.
I'm taking it in, but I'm not making assumptions based on it. I'm not assuming that it's just because of the so-called skin color.
Well, okay, he didn't say the only thing people. He didn't say the only thing white people. He didn't said the only thing Asian people. He said the only thing black people are good for, or the only thing black people can do for me, is shine my shoes or play football.
What is something that black people have in common besides skin color?
They have the American culture.
They have a degenerate American culture.
You keep talking about.
They have a degenerate American culture.
There's something called an American culture, which apparently the two betas that called you before didn't even bring that up. There's actually something called American culture.
And look at the South African culture. It's no better. It's even worse.
So you're saying it's based on skin color?
No, I'm not. You're the one who's saying that. You're the one who's you're the one who's saying that.
No, you're the one that's saying that.
No, I didn't say skin color. That's so dumb.
You take everybody as an individual.
No, you don't even believe in individuality. You don't even believe in individuality because you're dehumanizing the so-called racist. You believe that racism exists.
I'm not saying.
You're looking down on the people. You're looking down on the people who are sick of black, out of control people.
Black, yeah. Say it like you really want to say it. No, what I'm saying is that
I did say it like I really want to say it.
What you want to.
You're ignorant, D. You're guilty of what you're accusing the whites of being.
Let me.
You hate white people, by the way.
Okay, whatever. So
and you hate blacks. You don't love black people.
When Jesus is judging you, do you want Jesus to judge you on whatever the perceived culture of your people, your skin color, or do you want him to base you based on your individual things that you do in your life? Which one?
That's what happens. Jesus does his thing.
I'm asking you a simple question.
It's a stupid question.
Do you want God to judge you based on your individuality or your perceived culture?
I don't want God to judge me.
See, exactly. So you're just speaking in circles, and
you're the one speaking in circles. You haven't proved anything. You're ignorant.
I asked you a real simple question.
You're ignorant.
Do you want God to judge you on your individuality?
I don't want God to judge me on my individuality. I want him to withhold his judgment on me.
When you determine if you're going to hell or heaven, you don't want him to judge you.
Right. I don't want him judging me for that.
So all right. I'm done. You're ignorant.
No, you're the one who's ignorant. You're ignorant, and you sound either Mexican or an ignorant, educated white, or you sound like a black who's brainwashed to believe in racism and hate white people and look down on black people, and you don't care about black people. You don't even want to acknowledge that black people have a degenerate culture in America and around the world. And you just blame it on, skin color. It's skin color. That means you're looking down on the white people. You're assuming that they're judging based on skin color when you have no proof.
Let me tell you what I want to acknowledge is that in general, American culture overall has been deteriorating.
Yep. And blacks have led the way. Blacks have led the way, and you don't want to acknowledge that. Blacks have led the way. Have blacks led the way? Have blacks led the way? Yes. Yes.
It seems like actually the majority has led the way, and they've let in a lot of things in the born that they shouldn't have.
You're blind. You're closing your eyes to reality, and you don't care about black people. You're pretending. You're pretending to care about black people, and you don't. You hate black people.
I care about all people.
You don't care about anybody.
You don't.
No.
I care about
well, okay, you may care. You may care, but you hate. You hate them. Why are you such a hateful person, D? Why do you even listen to this show, D?
Because I need to know what's going on.
Thank you. Because I spread the truth. Hake news, not fake news.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, I don't care. That's the other person didn't say that he hates based on skin color, but you assume it. So I'm assuming that you like hake news, not fake news. Thank you, man.
Really, is that what I said?
You didn't have to say it. I read between the lines, just like you did. Hake news, not fake news.
You're basically saying what I didn't say. And
Yeah, and so just like how you treat the white people, just how you treat the white people. They never said skin color. They never said skin color. Race is more than skin color, by the way.
Race is more than skin color?
Yes, it is.
So my theory, because you're kind of ignorant, I don't want to call you a name, but in my idea...
Calling me ignorant is calling me a name.
There's only one race. There's only one race, and that's the human race.
That's dumb. That's hippie stuff. That's not gonna improve the world, man. That's hippie stuff.
I don't split. Oh, do you have blue eyes or green
No,
eyes?
I don't know.
Do you have blue eyes or green eyes?
They're greenish brown. I don't know. It depends on if the light is shining in them. Why? Don't be hitting on me. That's nasty.
So should I judge all greenish brown-eyed people?
Oh gosh, you listen to Jane Elliott, that idiot. You listen to Jane Elliott?
I'm just pointing out how ignorant.
Because Jane Elliott. No, you're the ignorant one. You're the one.
Hey,
do you support Trump?
Something else. Yes, I do.
Right on, man. Appreciate that.
I have a 45 Trump jersey, a 45 USA hat. I'm the biggest Trump supporter. But
so then how come you're so blind on this issue?
That's why I listen to the show.
Right on, man.
I listen to the show because a lot of things I agree with you guys.
All right.
But there's some things that make no sense in what you're saying.
Well, why don't you pause then, man?
How come? You need to fix your stuff.
But you don't. No, you don't. What you need to do, man. And maybe I got issues myself, right? But what I recommend, here's some unsolicited advice that you're not going to take. Maybe you will. But pause, man. If you don't get something, don't assume that they're wrong, because you have to think a little bit deeper.
Black people. So when that guy said the only thing that black people can do is shine his shoes or play football,
right?
I should assume that that's true.
Yeah, ask him. No, don't assume that it's true. Just ask him. Like, did you follow up with him? Hey, D, real fast, and then I gotta go. Did you follow up with that person? Did you follow up with that person and be like, why did you say that?
Do you want to hear the story? I'll tell you quick.
Real fast. I'll give you a minute.
Real fast. Well, this person was when I was 7 years old. So this person is approximately 30 years older now. So what do you think that person's doing when they're in business and they're a manager or they're whatever, working at a company? What do you think they're viewing of white people? Now things could have changed.
I'm rolling my eyes, man.
I'm just throwing it out there. What do you think that person with that mentality, how are they growing up today and how are they treating black people?
I have no idea.
People in their coach. I have no idea either.
Yeah.
But I'm just throwing it out there for you to grow as a person and to think about what you're saying.
No, but you should listen to this, because somebody who says that could be a very just and fair-minded person. And you're just assuming something that you don't know. And you don't know why he said that. You don't know why he said that. You don't know his experiences with the black people. You don't. Why?
First of all, they're evil. And they're basically
no, man, it's crazy.
Whatever Satan has gotten into them.
This is why the whites are sick of you guys. This is why the white people are sick of you guys, because you're such a.
What do you mean, you guys? You have no idea what I am.
I don't, but the whites are sick of you still. They're sick of you whether you're white or Hispanic or what.
Why are the whites sick of me? Why are not intelligent people sick of me? Because it's not.
No, I'm telling you, man.
It's
look.
Another intelligence. So why are white people sick of me?
Because you're judging some guy as evil from something that happened when you were 30 years ago, right? And you don't know what he meant by it. You didn't follow up with him. You were a kid, right?
Example, but go ahead. That was one example, but go ahead.
Yeah. If there's one example, there are others. So there's
many.
Yes, and you're going to call this man evil. And this is kind of like the situation where Trump said, send them back about the Congresswoman of color. I don't know if you supported that or not, but some people
send them back.
Nice. There's some really nice Jesse supporters and Trump supporters who were like, oh, I don't know if I support Trump saying that, because they don't realize that there are a lot of people brainwashed to be like against white people and against America. And that's why there's people who are sick of blacks, like that person, maybe it was, and you're assuming that he's evil. You're judging him entirely when, maybe that was an unfair statement, I guess, maybe. Who knows? Because who knows what he really meant? Who knows how he actually functions? Because how you act is more than what you say. He may say that, he may talk big, but he's really actually very fair with the blacks. You don't know it, but you don't have the spirit of the freedom of speech. You believe in this, I don't know if you believe in racism, but you kind of believe in this racism narrative where people get sick of that. The whites get really sick of this because it's a betrayal of white people. Because you don't believe in the freedom. You don't want to grant that guy the freedom of speech. You don't know what he meant by it. You're going to judge him as evil when you don't know. You're the evil one.
If you take enough bad medicine, you're going to get sick. So
But anyways, man, I gotta go. Let's talk about this again later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it again later. I hope your listeners understand you're kind of a beta with some of the things you're saying.
Why do you have to be so mean?
Because you always, at the end of the day, you always refer back to Jesse and then Jesus.
I know, but he's so right all the time. Can you blame me?
Step up as a man. Why don't you step up as a man and stop referring back
be
to
patient.
Jesse like
you gotta be patient with the white people. The white people have a long ways to go.
No, I don't. I like all people. I don't look.
I'm just saying, you gotta be patient with me. I'll come into my own maybe.
I look at you as a beta male. That's what I look at you as.
That's fine. That's fine.
If you're going to make absolute statements, make sure absolute statements are correct.
I stand by what I said, man. Appreciate it, D.
100% of all people have never discriminated based on skin color.
Right.
That shows your ignorance.
No, I said hate. I said hate. Discrimination is
welcome.
Discrimination is good.
Welcome. Your callers are welcome. And
all
you
right.
are welcome.
Take care, man. Bye. Luis out of Los Angeles, California. Is it Louis or Luis?
Whichever. I don't mind.
All right, man. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Fine, man.
Real quick, I think that caller is a beta.
Yeah. When he called me beta, I should have said takes one to know one. But anyways.
Yeah. I had a question.
Yeah.
So I go to a liberal school in LA.
Yeah.
And I mostly disagree with the professors.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to ask, should I keep speaking up, or what should I do?
Oh. So you've spoken up already, right?
Yeah, because we're reading 2 books, and I think college is pure indoctrination. Liberal college is pure indoctrination because both books, one was about some guy coming out as gay,
right,
and the other one was about the Black Lives Matter founders. So
why do you continue to go?
Well, it's just a start.
Oh, you're going as just a start to maybe you're going to figure out what you want to do?
Yes.
Are you working?
Well, I have my little gigs on the side.
Okay.
I make websites on the side. Yeah.
Oh, right on, man. Well, yeah. I don't know why you would go and support that stuff unless you have a clear direction in mind. Like, you can always say you need a degree for this or that field, or you need training in this or that field. Like, become a I hate to mention nurse because you're a man, right? But maybe they do need some male nurses. Some of those females are pretty out of control, I hear. But say you need to get your engineering degree or something. Yeah, that's good. But I don't think that you should necessarily. You should consider whether you really want to go to this school. That's one thing. Another thing is, yes, you can talk. You can speak up because you have nothing to. Are you going to community college?
Yes.
All right. And, so then you don't have much to lose. I mean, you get an F in that class, whatever. They can't really do anything. They can't hurt you unless, like, say they get an F and then it's harder to get into a good school or something. But then you can explain, hey, it's a liberal professor and I spoke up. But, you know, the world is very eager to be unjust toward fair-minded men like you, right? So
yes. Yes.
If you're prepared to face that injustice, go for it. If not, quit the class, stop paying them money, because by being there, you are getting money towards that school.
Well, I mean, the state's paying for it. You know,
okay.
We live in a communist state.
I know. Right, it's true. So, man, hope that helps. If you need, if you want, private counseling or talk to Jesse about it, he may be able to give you more wisdom, he can give you more interaction, but that's the best I got for you. If you're willing to face the heat, go for it. If not, and you still want to stay there and get good grades, definitely do that, but also consider maybe you don't want to be there. Because there is a training that takes place, a false brainwashing of, go to school while you figure out what you want to do. But that just puts you in this imaginary world of academia where they just all pat themselves on the back and it's like a real racket. Like they're not producing value over there. In some cases, yes, there's a little bit of value, but generally, like it's basically like a money hole where they're just dumping money into it, and the kids are getting more and more corrupt. I say kids, but people are getting more and more corrupt. So just consider it. I'm not saying to quit. I'm not saying to do anything, but because I'm not you and I'm not in your position, you have to know for yourself what to do. So you definitely can speak up, though, man. You can. It could be very inspiring to your classmates if it's the right thing. But like I said about this thing, be just passionate about it. Don't like get animated.
Yeah, because
like you can get animated, but don't be emotional about it.
I would like to mention because they brought up Trayvon Martin, and I said, well, Trayvon Martin is a thug.
Nice.
He tackled the guy that shot him turned out to be Hispanic, but the news didn't.
Yep.
They reported him as a white Hispanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he voted for Obama, and he tutored black kids, and he was like a do-gooder, emotional do-gooder. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, that's true. And so, what was the reaction?
All hell broke loose. And it was funny because the guys there, because college is mostly female.
Right.
The guys there just stay quiet.
Nice.
And then all the women came on to me.
In a good way, or about like they were attracted to you, or they went after you, or both.
They come both ways, but in that situation,
they were mad.
They did it.
That's a cool story, Louise. So you definitely, I don't know, I kind of like that story, but yeah, do what you see is right. In general, like when you don't know what to do, just do nothing. Right. But I don't think you were wrong to speak up and give that wake-up call, because it's like cold water on the face wake-up call. That's necessary. Sometimes wakes people up. So you could be a light at that school. So, especially if you handle it right. Because it's more important to live the truth, which is like love, than even just merely be rattling off the truth, the so-called truth. Anyway, Louise, good to hear from you, man. Do you come to church ever?
Thanks so much. No, I don't go to that one.
Okay. Well, if you're ever free, definitely come up to church. We don't have it this Sunday, but next Sunday we will.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care, Luis. Good to hear from you. And let me know, keep in touch on that. I'm curious how it goes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You too. Thank you. David out of Kentucky. How are you doing?
All right, James.
Hey, nice to hear from you.
Yeah, I don't know what to say after all these last couple phone calls.
Yeah.
The reason I called was, I was wondering, what could James do to spice up his 1 hour every week?
Uh-huh.
And I got to thinking, have you ever thought about, like your Hake Reports on the news,
Yeah.
with Jesse?
Yep.
Why don't you have a ticker tape down below you?
All right.
That has the news,
yeah, that's a nice idea. Because this thing is in the way anyways. I don't like this thing. I try to push it down as low as it'll go. I'm pointing to my computer, stupid thing.
Right.
In the way. Punch it.
Well,
I appreciate the tip, David. Thank you, man.
And like times in church on there. And
nice idea.
And major headline, tick, right on, it just runs. Sometimes I want to look at that.
Right.
I don't want to hear a caller. Some of the callers scare me, but
right.
Okay.
I appreciate that, David. We will figure something out. Thanks, man.
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to spice up your program a little more.
Yeah, definitely.
More professional, like.
For sure, man.
What does politicon mean? What's the definition of that word?
I think it's short for political convention. I think that's what politicon means.
Oh.
Yeah. I gotta go, David. Try to make it to the Politicon if you can. That would be awesome. But if not,
well, I live in Nashville also.
Okay, perfect. All right, take care, man.
Okay, buddy.
All right, Maze and all the rest of the callers. I'm sorry, my favorite caller. I wasn't able to get to her. Oh, brutal. But we'll talk to you tomorrow, which is Get It Off Your Chest Friday. and The Fallen State is coming out on Friday. And I think for sure this time I will have a 2007 Jesse Lee Peterson radio show episode to premiere this evening. Hopefully, right? Hopefully it's not interrupting a Trump rally, right? Hopefully not. Is it? Dang. Hopefully not. That's a word that I used to frequently use at a cabinet shop. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.